Hi, my name is John Kim, and I'm a therapist who went through his own rebirth. I share my feelings and revelations. I believe in casual over clinical and with you instead of at you. I come unrehearsed on purpose because self help doesn't have to be so complicated. So, someone recently DM'd me and she said, "Can you please, please?" All right, that's getting annoying, do an episode on your podcast about sexless marriages. And I was like, yes, why didn't I think of that before? I mean, that's such a common thing. And I have so much experience with couples struggling with lack of sex in their marriages. So, all right, she didn't say please at all. This episode is about sexless marriages, and I want to do it family feud style. You probably think I said Family Food. I was trying to say that because I say a lot of words wrong. Family Feud. It's an old game show from I think 70s to 80s, 90s. I don't know if it's still on. But basically, it's like this giant world survey, and then based on the topic, this dude says survey says, and then the on the board you could see in what order the most popular answers are. So first, let's talk about why our marriages are sexless, and I think the number one answer, survey says, is anger and resentment. Now, listen, there is no way that you are going to want to have sex with someone if you are mad at them. Yes, there is that whole makeup sex where you're like kind of angry, and I get like if you're into role playing or kink, and also you can be kind of mad or frustrated at your partner and still have sex with that person, and still enjoy it, and it could be hot, channeling that anger into sexual attention. Yes, of course. But if you at the core are really angry at someone and you've suppressed that shit and there is now resentment, it's so hard to have sex with someone. Now, a lot of people in marriages, because they believe this is what a good husband or wife looks like, they will suppress that anger and they will just go through the motions of sex because they feel like they have to please their partner, or they feel like as an obligation. But that's not good sex. That's not good connection and intimacy. That's just um, duty, right? And of course, the more you do that, the more angry you're going to get. So eventually, the pressure cooker is it's going to go off. Meaning, if you don't have conversations, if you don't release the valve in your relationship by processing the anger and resentment, by actually talking about it, by choosing to forgive, or whatever it takes, um, your marriage will eventually be sexless. And if you technically don't have a sexless marriage, but people are very angry at each other, then it's going to not be. You're definitely not going to hit high notes. Then it's definitely just um, surfacey, or probably just skin hunger. All right. Number two reason why I believe marriages turn sexless is change in dynamic slash um, one change in dynamic could be from mouth to nipple, which I talk about a lot. So over the years, there can be a change in dynamic. And so a version of this happened to me where when I was married, and we were married for roughly 5 years, we dated for another 4 or 5 years. So in that 10-year span, I completely, the dynamic of the relationship changed because I lost my sense of self. So, when we first met, it was explosive and all of that stuff. And I was super ambitious running a restaurant bar. She was new to LA, the dynamic was good, right? Um, and then once we got married, of course, 5 years later, and definitely lots of anger and resentment on her side, so that was there. And once we got married, 5 years of that was me feeling lost. She was starting to do well in her career. I was not. I was just the guy that stayed home and did the dishes and walked the dog while she was, in planes and thriving in her career. And this changed the dynamic, right? And I'm not just trying to make it about like work, but it's one of the things. What happened is she lost respect for me, and definitely. me trying to find my way, I think, is a part of that. And of course, people who love each other, definitely, they give themselves give each other time and space to get traction if you're going through a transition, of course. But there was other layers and other issues there. But over the years, the dynamic changed where I put her on a pedestal. I think she lost respect for me, and I went from her mouth to I was gonna say a nipple, from her mouth to nipple. Went from husband to child. When all of that stuff. So when that dynamic changes, the person doesn't see you as attractive anymore, and this can happen the other way. um this can also happen where if you're in a marriage, you just become friends and the chemistry fades, because a lot of people who get married forget that the spark isn't just natural, that you have to put effort into it. That's why there are things like date night and all of that is necessary. um, a lot of times people get married and they don't take care of themselves anymore. A lot of the attraction fades because they get into routines and because they start letting themselves go. And I'm not just talking about, like, I'm not just making this about aesthetics. I'm talking about, like, if someone you meet is taking care of him or herself, that's attractive, right? That's what you that's what you signed up for. And then over the years, that person starts to not take care of him or herself, and maybe starts to eat like shit, or maybe starts smoking, whatever. um that can definitely cause less attraction. That could cause the relationship dynamic to change, right?
We'll be right back after this brief message.
Okay, if you are alive, you know that we are learning more and more benefits about this magical thing called CBD. And if you are considering using it or trying it yourself, which I believe you should know that not all CBD is created equal. So unlike other CBD brands who offer just CBD, I want to talk to you about Hempfusion, which is CBD plus omegas plus other natural ingredients to make you feel 110%. So here's what's interesting. They do this because CBD works best for your body when combined with these other nutrients. Hempfusion also adds other natural ingredients to create products that help significantly with stress, sleep, and energy. Let me give you 20% off your first order plus free shipping at hempfusion.com, because listen, everything Hempfusion does adds up to a better product, and that adds up to a better day for a better you. 20% off. The discount code is Angry Therapist, all caps, Angry Therapist, for 20% off your first order plus free shipping at hempfusion.com. Get your CBD on now. And so this happens a lot. People get married, then they get lazy, they stop working on their own life. They stop working on their fitness, or whatever. Also, women have children, and then they have to rebuild their bodies and their relationship with their body. And if they don't, then they could start to get insecure about. Excuse the helicopter outside of my window. This is Los Angeles. People robbing houses, I'm assuming. They could lose confidence and get really insecure about their body, become very self-conscious, and of course that can change the dynamic, and that could also lead to a sexless marriage. All right, number 3, and this is kind of the obvious one that everyone thinks about. Survey says cheating and infidelity. So this is why most people think marriages are sexless, and that is not true. But obviously, if there is cheating, what comes with that is anger and resentment, things that are unresolved. What comes with that is people wanting to move forward, but then they start holding it, or they use the infidelity as ammo, right? They keep bringing it out, they keep it in their back pocket, which is not fair. And, or, well, I mean, fair or not, that's not going to help people move forward. They're just going to keep peeling the band-aid, right? It doesn't heal, it's just peeling scabs. So then with that, they people stop having sex because of the pain and hurt and anger and resentment, all that. All right, and then the fourth one, and this is just kind of logistical. uh it's busy. And I get it. Like, we get married, And whether you have kids or not, but of course, if you have kids, then yes, I mean that's a legitimate reason why sex will most likely stop, at least for whatever a few months. But uh, people move, people have to they get jobs, they work overtime, like all the stuff that happens in life. And I get it that we can get busy, but here's what I also believe: it doesn't matter how busy you are, if the relationship is good and people are working on it and they actually desire and crave each other, they will get it in. Pardon the pun. They will get it in. It doesn't matter because if it's important to you, it will happen. It's like that saying: if someone likes you, no matter what, they will make an effort. You will know, right? They will show you, they will show up, they will call you, text you, whatever. It's the same. Like if two people are still attracted to each other, uh, as long as they're still human, they have sexual needs, and they will. It doesn't matter how busy they are, they're gonna make time for that kind of connection. I mean, when you get so busy, you may forget to eat, correct? Do you forget to eat every day? Right? Do you forget to? No, you still get food in your stomach. You still, make it to the gym. You still get the things that you want to do because they're important to you. So, busy is no excuse, but it definitely is a legit reason if it's temporary. I'm going to add one more thing, and this is probably up higher on the list, but I just thought of it, and let's just round it off at 5, and that is disconnection with self. I think that sometimes marriages turn sexless because people start drifting away from themselves, you know? Uh, and this could be everything from just being depressed and grayed out and not happy in life to just not liking themselves. And when you don't like yourself, the last thing you're going to want to do is take your clothes off and share your body and be intimate, right? You're going to just you're not going to have the energy or the enthusiasm, and so, of course, that can be a crowbar when it comes to sex and intimacy. So I think that's probably, I don't know, it's somewhere in the middle. Um, so let's just recap: anger and resentment. And if that is happening in your relationship, whether you're married or not, you have to address it. You know what? I mean, just forget it. Forget the sexless marriage thing. That's just that that'll just destroy your relationship. Period. It's just a matter of time, right? If you have anger or resentment and you want to continue to have sex in your marriage, uh, you better resolve that shit. I don't know how you want to do it. Couples counseling, converse, whatever. Everything starts with a conversation. But people need to resolve anger. People who are angry at each other will not be having sex. Change in dynamic. So think about your relationship. How has it? Think about your marriage. How has it changed? Has the dynamic changed? If he went from Superman to Clark Kent, or if you went from whatever to whatever, how has that changed the dynamic of the relationship? Are you guys just friends now? Right? Has the dynamic of the relationship changed because people are changing, or because maybe there's been some kind of circumstance situational change? I don't know, but if the dynamic has changed, that could definitely change the attraction, and of course ripple into the bedroom. Cheating and infidelity, that's an obvious one, and but also that's tied to anger and resentment, I believe. And then just being busy. And listen, create schedules, put it in there, make an effort, and it doesn't have to be just sex. It's like, you know I believe that foreplay starts when you wake up, and it's throughout the day. So it's not just about scheduling sex, it's about the connecting, right? The flirting, the texting or sexting, the whatever it is that you do to fan the flames, so the sex happens naturally. I have many clients who are married and also who have kids and who are working on their sex life again. And here's something, like, sometimes, and this is one example, if your partner's love language, say, is act of service, right? Sometimes doing something without taking credit, but just doing something because they think it's hot if you say did the dishes or got the car washed or whatever, like these kind of like everyday things. Sometimes that goes a lot further than flowers. Sometimes that goes a lot further than dressing up, because it means a lot to them and it's a language that they speak, right? Or if the person's love language is words of affirmation, then maybe writing something for them or telling them something, how pretty they are or whatever, or handsome or whatever, because they haven't heard it in a long time, right? So things like that we forget to do. Um, Ask yourself what your partner's love language is, and they may have a few, and see if you can start to speak that language. And by doing so, maybe the attraction will improve, and then maybe sex will be the byproduct of that. All right. I hope you are working on um, your marriage. I hope you guys are working on your marriages, unless you are married to many people. And I hope that you are consistently working on your marriage, and part of that includes your sex life. Thank you for listening. Be well. Hey, if you have a passion to help others and want to become a life coach, or you just want to acquire tools to change your own life, learn more about our Catalyst Life Coaching Intensive. We are an evidence-based training program with an amazing, authentic, vibrant community, and we give lifetime support. Just go to my website, theangrytherapist.com, and click on Life Coach Training. Hey, before you go, if you like my ramblings and revelations and shares, I am now texting people directly to their phone. Just go to my website, theangrytherapist.com. If you want to subscribe, I'll be doing weekly text, 5 days a week, reminders, and also mindsets and exercises and challenges. And every week there will be a different theme, a different topic. So I hope to see you in your phone. And also, if you enjoyed this conversation, I hope you help me spread the dialogue and help other people by sharing it. You never know what people need to hear. So if it's helped you, I hope you can help me help others.